After she convinced me to move out of my house, the day that I had my bags packed, my mom had a panic attack, and me being me, I had to go to my mom.
My sophomore year, I was in a relationship and it became very toxic. I had no confidence, no self worth. I hated everything about myself.
I came into high school really stressed out about my friends and the fact that I was in high school and the relationship that I had with my dad or lack thereof. And my sophomore year, it hit like an all-time high. I was having a panic attack at least once a week.
As I entered high school, I entered to a dating relationship, and first year was pretty good. And then after that, I went to Love is Red, and actually, that's the first time I kind of felt a call to ministry. And then I actually told her when I got back, and she just completely denied it, said I was dumb.
That summer, I promised myself that I was going to work on myself. And so when I entered my junior year, things started getting better, but I went to a lot of parties and I thought that would help, but it didn't.
My family was never really like, this is God, this is Jesus, we go to church, but my family was never really like, they didn't say no to it. We started to go to church more regularly. Both my dad and my mom, my parents are separated. Literally after like my first or second Sunday at what was then Cross Point, I went to youth and didn't stop, like haven't stopped. I started volunteering as a team member and eventually I moved to the production team, which was a lot more demanding than kids. And my dad didn't really understand that. It caused a really big strain in our relationship actually. Because we were fighting so much, it just got worse and worse and worse and snowballed. My sophomore year, it hit like an all-time high. I was going to my dad's more regularly then, and I was having a panic attack at least once a week. It created a very like deep pit of like loneliness, even though I was constantly busy and I was constantly surrounded with people who cared about me, people that did love me, but like it's like I couldn't like let myself feel it.
In relationships, it's so easy for that love to waver. It's literally just the little things like saying you want to do something in the future and then it's dumb. Like, that's not real love, especially if it's God's calling on your life. I just couldn't really picture myself doing it after she said that. And then we actually ended up breaking up because my mom actually had a panic attack. It's just something God just radically flipped a switch in my life.
In November, I came to Better Life Youth for the first time, and then I kept going. And then in March, I went to Love is Red. Carl Lentz was preaching, and he really was like speaking to me. And then they started playing the song Good Grace, and that's one of my all-time favorite worship songs now. And it really like connected to me because people here on earth, they might not see my worth, but I know that God always sees me as a gift.
I was like, you know, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm not gonna be lonely. So I like dove in even harder to God. Like I pushed even further. I was on the speech team and a piece that I had to do was about loneliness. Like I was performing what I was living every day of my life, and it forced me to understand it. Knowing that like God's always there for you and he always has that like boundless love for you, that it's never gonna end, and that he's like always walking like right in front of you, right beside you, and that he puts people in your life that love you the same way. Even when like you don't feel it or like you don't see it, but that like it's there.
Infinite love means to me no matter what I do, no matter the anxious thoughts I have, the bad days where I do make mistakes, that he'll always love me no matter what.
I think of the story in the Bible of the prodigal son. No matter how far he went away, God loved him. God's love is never ending. He loved him whenever he was far away, and as soon as that father seen him, that love was still there. God's love is exactly like that. No matter how far you go, it's never going to change.
Ever since I gave my life to Jesus, I just feel like my heart is whole again. I'm a much happier Lizzie. I look forward every week coming to youth and coming on Sundays. I know that I have worth and that I'm enough.
Man, Love now, what it looks to me is completely different. It's the heart, it's inside, and what comes inside will overflow out of you. And I just feel like I treat people a lot different. I have more grace, and I know, like, when people, if they do me wrong, I know that it's not really them. They deserve grace, and they need to know God's love.
From like stubbing my toe on the kitchen table to like something like extremely dramatic happening in my life, like because of the love that God's given me, I've been able to push through that and understand that that's okay, and that it's okay for me to grow and not be perfect. And I know that at the end of the day, when I get in my car and I'm driving home and I turn on a song and I'm just talking to God, that like it's okay.